thank you for sharing the live stream while we are live. If you're on the old channel, the MineYourBiz primary channel, go ahead and hop on over to the MineYourBiz new channel, the secondary channel. It's MineYourBiz secondary on YouTube, or you can just go to sub.myb.lol. Thank you in advance for clicking all the buttons. Thank you in advance for sharing this with a friend. Sharing is caring indeed, especially on the new channel. We're working to make this the preferred home for MineYourBiz. We have proof of live stream. As your chat comes in, you will see my responses to it or hear my responses to it. Thank you in advance for being here. Thank you in advance for spending the time with MineYourBiz. Be sure to share the link. Thank you for being subscribed if you're not already. Definitely appreciate that. All of your clicks count. All of the subscriptions help. So thank you for your assistance there. Still setting up our last little bit of content for the live stream as well. If you're on the old channel, we are stopping the stream on MineYourBiz. Go to sub.myb.lol to view us at the new home. All right, nobody here but us new MineYourBiz home folks, homeboys and homegirls. I'll be on screen in just a minute. Thanks for sharing the link. Ladies and gentlemen, with that, I see you sharing that link. I see you smashing that like button. Go ahead and make your comments known. Say hello when you're in the chat. Do be aware that you need to be a subscriber in order to leave any chat messages. It is not open to non-subscribers, but if you are subscribed, even just for a minute, you can leave a comment. And with that, we are live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Mind Your Biz. My name is Seth, and in today's episode, this is what I've lovingly dubbed the Doge episode, because frankly, Doge is dominating the news cycle right now. But before we talk about Doge, let's just talk about markets in general. And before we talk about markets in general, let me make sure that you can actually see my browser. Crypto Fear and Greed Index, currently a score of 44. We're pretty darn close to neutrality. That's a bit of a problem in my mind. As I've said in the past, neutrality in these markets, it normally kind of means that we have nothing to react against. I think that's a big problem. I think that the Fear and Greed Index is normally a counter indicator, and that usually when people are showing fear, that gives us the opportunity to show some greed, lean in, and execute our plans. If people are showing greed, that gives us the opportunity to do the opposite, right? When the market zigs, we zag. When showing greed, we start to set our sell orders, right? We start to show a little bit of common sense, self-preservation, maybe even some fear, right? And we back out of the positions that we're currently in. So that said, is that financial advice? No, it is not. It's just my take on how this thing works. Been around long enough to see it play out a number of times. People getting wrecked by holding on to things for too long, turning a good asset into a toxic asset through their own behavior and realistically just through their own emotions, right? So you see it right there. Fear and Greed Index of 44, getting close to that score of 50. That's this thing that I don't know like what to do with that, right? I don't really understand how to make that make sense of a Fear and Greed Index score of 44. But there you have it. Current score of 44. Let's take a look at the trend over the last month. And the trend over the last month kind of shows that we've been kind of ranging sideways. And as you've heard me say in previous episodes, I think that too is kind of correlated to the price. It is the tail wagging the dog now in this current market. And if we zoom in a little bit, that chart looks an awful lot like that chart, doesn't it? People are just kind of getting emotional based on that slow crawl upwards of Bitcoin. I'm not moving the chopsticks though. Why is Seth not moving the chopsticks? Why you got to be so obstinate, Seth? Why you got to be so difficult? Well, here's why. Because when I see a chart like this, when I see that Bitcoin is, it's putting up higher lows, but then it's also only showing like maybe 2 green candle days back to back. Sorry, I've got 3 right there. I got 4 right there. It's a little more rare in the recent charts though. When you're seeing the most commonly 2 green days back to back, green candle days back to back, and then kind of a slow bleed out, and you're seeing kind of commensurate volume, high volume on those green candle days, and then kind of bleeding out, that kind of makes me think that there's more to it than we would typically see in a healthy market. Sean C is in the chat, says, hi everyone, appreciate seeing you here, Sean. Smiley Gnome is in the chat saying, go Doge, go. Appreciate you guys. There's proof of live stream. We got the comments coming in. Thank you so much for being supportive. Thank you so much for sharing the link. There is a little bit of interference on this new channel with the previous subscriber base. I'm definitely noticing that the regulars are not finding our live stream as quickly as they should, and I'm not sure what's going on there. But, it's hard. It's hard to change channels on YouTube, but here's the thing. They've been manipulating us for so long. That's why I took the dire decision that I did to get a strategically acquired new channel, to stick it to the man, and and boost the signal, guys. Crypto's important. What we're doing here is important. And frankly, we've been saying for a while that we have very little time left to warn people about how difficult things are going to get. And warn people about these markets. We've been doing it for years now, right? Trying to warn people that that the ongoing stimulus money, that the freebie helicopter money was going to result in inflation. Well, what did it do? Resulted in inflation. So this signal is more important. That's what I'm saying. This signal is more important than just jumping through some of the hoops and playing some of the games that some of these centralized authoritarians want us to play. So you know what? That's why I'm just straight up. That's why I'm fighting dirty, guys. That's why the new channel. But it is getting a lot less love than I thought it would, and YouTube is suppressing, I think, just a little bit. So do be sure to click buttons. Do be sure to share the link. Do be sure to tell people this is important to go follow Mind Your Biz over here. Appreciate your support. And yes, the revolution will be tokenized, and the tokenization will be televised. But back onto the charts, guys. Chopsticks, I'm not moving them. I think that this is BS. I think it's been BS for a while. I think this is a weird manipulated pattern right here, and I think it's going to result in a melt up and then a breakdown. I mean, that's just my take on it. Crypto Weatherman can talk to you more about the melt up theory. I really appreciate Crypto Weatherman's take on there being a melt up theory, and yeah, it's gonna be pretty great to see if Bitcoin can do that, and then all the other correlated assets can follow. But I think if it does melt up, it is going to break down. That's just how it's gonna be. We're not gonna see a straight run back up to 100K. The laser eyes are, they're uninformed optimism. It's very naive, I think, to have the laser eyes and to just tell everybody that like Bitcoin's definitely going to 100K this year. No, good luck with that. Maybe 2023 at some point, more likely 2024. But yeah, right now I think we have a lot more blood to let out of this market. We have this entire green range that you've been hearing about here on MineYourBiz all the way down. We can go down to the depths of hell with the price action. We really can. Past 12.5K, which has been my prediction, even further below that. Some people have said as low as 9K. I don't know that I believe that, but some people have said that low. But the point is, I think these chopsticks, they give us a solid indication, not a solid indication of where it's actually headed, but I think that that lower portion of this channel here is still realistic, right? 12.5K to 14K. I think that's the bare cost to produce one full Bitcoin. And here's the proof. Guys, over on the Brains calculator, insights.brains.com, all the links that I share with these resources, or all the info that I share with these resources, I share with you in links as well. I'm not trying to prove to you that I know more than anybody else. These are freely available resources, and I'm just trying to be a guide and trying to help share with people who need to know. So do be sure that you share the link so more people can find out. But over at insights.brains.com, we have this cost to mine one full Bitcoin. This is their informational chart. It is fully interactive, and I've put in the custom attributes of the current top of the line from Bitmain, the S19J Pro, or one of the current top of the line models from Bitmain. 104 terahash at about 3,300 watts operating. And then most people, if you are in the right side of your town, you can get 8-cent power. If you don't think that's possible, I'm going to challenge you. In fact, if you don't think that's possible and you're an actual subscriber and like a friend, hop on a call with me and I'll talk to you about how that is possible. I've helped people who I've consulted to source that level of power, source that price for power, even in cities where they thought they were never going to see lower than like 15 cents or 20 cents. Even in very abusive states like California and New York, you can find this level of power. You can find this price for power if you know how to look for it. But the point is, 8-cent power will get you a $13,500 Bitcoin. That's what it does, right? You're trading watts for Bitcoin, and that's what it takes, right? So $13,500 Bitcoin. I think that puts you in range to be kind of drought tolerant, so to speak. If you can mine your Bitcoin at that approximate cost, or acquire your Bitcoin at that approximate cost, you will not feel bad about that when we do finally hit bottom support in this bear market. Even if it does dip below that, I don't think it's going to be sustained for a super long period of time. That said, man, all bets are off. We did see $3,500 Bitcoin for far longer than most of us were comfortable with. So, I mean, take that with a grain of salt, but I do think that most people are going to be comfortable and not feel that they absolutely have to sell, right, in order to keep the shirt on their back. But that's the cost of mine one full Bitcoin. You can see the current break-even price is 14 cents per kilowatt hour at this efficiency specifically. So it's not a bad time, right? Like, clearly the difficulty's all aligned. A lot of miners are capitulating. A lot of the major groups like Hut 8, Core Scientific, and others, they are not having their best quarters, right? Core Scientific is having a worse go of it than Hut 8, of course. But many of the institutional miners are kind of giving up. They're packing it up. So you may be able to purchase their equipment as they capitulate. Keep an eye out for deals there, is what I'm saying. Definitely keep an eye out for deals there. Smiley Gnome says, don't know why YouTube unsubbed me from your channel. Doge, wow. Oh, it's a new channel. That explains. Yes, it is. Oh my gosh. Yeah, and thank you for noticing that. It is a new channel, guys. Yeah, it is a strategic acquisition, and that was very intentional because I'm tired of their games. That's the bottom line. I'm just tired of their games. Yeah, been told by a good friend of mine that I was I don't even know how to use it, like a synonym for it, that I was, light projection excluded from Yeah, light projection excluded from the main search results for far too long for a couple of years. That was happening because of the kinds of topics that we talked about on the other channel and the kinds of people that we interviewed. Mind you, who were those people? Roger Ver, Charles Hoskinson. We had the original crypto note developer who created the first code base that was built on, that created Bytecoin, that was then forked to create Monero. So if you want to kind of stretch a little bit, we interviewed the first ever Monero developer before Monero was a project. We've interviewed privacy-oriented projects. We've interviewed people who have assisted in extending the privacy capabilities of networks like Zcoin, which has now become Firo. This is important stuff, right? In my mind, it's important stuff. And it isn't just like, all right, well, buy this particular GPU. Oh, here, let me show you my referral link down in the chat or whatever. Like, buy this GPU, buy this motherboard. That's good stuff. It's important to have how-tos, but I really do feel like we're covering stuff that is even more meaningful, right? And I think that we covered it at the right time to prepare people for the current market conditions. At least I feel good about what we've done there. So I'm a little bothered that we had to take this step to try to get around the problems that we had before. But that's the cost of one full Bitcoin. Current gas fees on Ethereum and Bitcoin. We do see, okay, the fees are lining up right now. It is finally past 9 a.m. across most of the United States. You got people in California that are just getting to their desks, and so these blocks are starting to fill up just a little bit more. People are getting over to their trades. They're trying to figure out what it is they want to do on Ethereum. Let's get rid of last block, get rid of pending TXs, and just keep our median fees, both contract fee, transfer fee, as well as gas price. So we'll figure that out on that side. Median transaction fee over on Bitcoin, 35 cents. Don't need the block, don't need pending transactions. We do want to have our fees in sats per VByte, so we can kind of see that as well. Comparing and contrasting, current TX fee on Bitcoin is finally below Ethereum again. It was above Ethereum for a short time, but here we are with low fees again. It's a good look, guys. It's a good look for Bitcoin for sure. While it's still legal, I used to be able to say like that there was no legal precedent against being able to mix using decentralized protocols, mix coins that you own, because there was not legal precedent prior to the Tornado Cash debacle. As it is today, CoinJoin and Whirlpool are apparently, knock on wood, still legal services for you to legally use on coins that you are tracking for your own legal purposes. So I say that with an ounce of caution, right? Take much more caution. Talk to a legal professional if you need to. Talk to your own CPA. Talk to anybody that would advise you on your taxes, and ask them, what would the legal ramifications be of me seeking more privacy for my coins? I think it's important for us to maintain as much privacy as we can in our cryptocurrency holdings, right? It's a moral obligation. It's for the greater moral good that we help the networks to be as private as possible and increase the anonymity set, air quotes, of Bitcoin and Ethereum however possible, while also making sure that we do not put ourselves and our families in a difficult position, right, with the law. So take every measure that you can legally, right, but talk to a professional about that. Don't just listen to some guy on YouTube. I am not your lawyer. I am not your attorney. Or I'm not your CPA, and I'm not your personal consultant. You haven't retained my services in any meaningful way. So this doesn't necessarily pertain to your specific situation. Is that a whole lot of like CYA right there? Yeah, it is. It's a whole lot of CYA, guys. Dangerous times right now. There's such dangerous times in crypto today. But let's talk about how and why. All right, news segments, guys. We're going to go through this a little more tactically than we have in the past. But research, Bitcoin now has over 1 billion unique addresses, leaving Ethereum and Litecoin in the dust. What does that really mean? Well, that means that 158 million and 148 million, respectively, for Ethereum and Litecoin. Those are the number of active unique addresses. Now, that said, how many of these addresses on Bitcoin are change addresses? How many of these are exchange addresses? How many of them are change addresses on exchange addresses? How many of them have just been dusted by some other protocol? And how many of them are just like not active addresses, but merely unique addresses that have ever interacted with the network? Well, that's hard to measure. It's hard to know for sure, because there are a lot of sort of so-called dormant whale wallets on every network, but especially Bitcoin, because it's the oldest cryptocurrency network. So take this kind of news with a grain of salt. However, a billion addresses is nothing to sneeze at. It's not a bad accomplishment at all. It's really good. So congratulations, Bitcoin. You're getting all growed up, right? With a billion unique addresses, this is huge. Latest reports from Glassnode, however, tell us that the amount of centralization of the coin supply on Bitcoin is a little less exciting because the majority of Bitcoin is held in only a mere few thousand addresses. Of a billion addresses, there's only a few thousand that hold the majority coin supply. Now, when you get over to the vast majority coin supply, over 90% of the coin supply, you're looking at hundreds of thousands of addresses that hold that, but not even 1 million addresses. So it is very, very tightly centralized in terms of ownership right now, or it appears that way in terms of ownership right now. However, when you look at the overall M2, right, the monetary supply of the entire globe, the entire world, that's kind of how value looks by way of US dollars, or as measured in US dollars. That's kind of how value and markets look when measured in any other major first world currency or developed nation currency. So should Bitcoin be any special exception? Probably not. Right? Probably not. There's probably going to be a bit of centralization of ownership across the Western world, especially in the United States, Canada, Western Europe, maybe Australia. A lot of the English-speaking territories, the Five Eyes nations, are going to very likely just continue to own a lot of that stuff because they've always owned all the real estate and all of the cash and all of the other jewelry and things of value throughout recorded history, right? That's just kind of how it's been. Like, yeah, we can have any kind of campaigns about talking about inclusion, talking about banking the unbanked, but at the end of the day, that is the golden rule. He who holds the gold makes the rules, and those who make the rules tend to hold more gold. Like, it's just kind of, it feeds itself, perpetuates a bit of a cycle of centralization and congregation of power. But 1 billion unique addresses, big friggin' deal. It really is, actually. It is quite an achievement for the Bitcoin network, so that's awesome. Glassnode shows that, the total number of unique addresses growing, and especially since 2019. 2017 bull run really brought us into great standing as well. But we were already 3/4 of the way there in 2017, moving into the 2018, right? The top, right? The top of the market in the end of 2017, going into 2018. So there you go. Smiley Gnome says MetaMask connects all of your addresses together for easy tracking. I think that's probably true. It's a little bit frustrating that there are not better HD wallets for Ethereum today. That's a real bummer. And yeah, MetaMask, the ownership model for MetaMask is a bit of a disappointment. I've been using more frequently the Rabby wallet from DBank. It is open source. I don't know that it has the same kind of entanglements with Infura. It still very likely uses the most common Infura RPC networks. So there's a bit of an issue, with Ethereum and having that kind of centralization of most of the common infrastructure. So there are issues everywhere. Everywhere, guys. We're looking at compromises everywhere in cryptocurrency. Bitcoin is the least worst option. That is why you see me literally wear it on my head, scream it from the rooftops like, hey, get yourself into some Bitcoin, hodl it, don't let it go. You'll need it later, right? Just set it and forget it. Don't worry about short time horizons. Just get yourself off zero. I can say that safely, guys. And is that financial advice? Does it sound like financial advice? I mean, that's like saying have a piggy bank for your cash, right? Save for a rainy day. It shouldn't sound like financial advice. It should just sound like common sense. Make sure that you're off zero with Bitcoin. I don't care if you're a DeFi maximalist. I don't care if you're into NFTs. Think about Bitcoin and make sure that you are part of this crowd. This is an okay crowd to blend into. 1 billion unique addresses, I think you can probably blend in there as far as security through obscurity. But again, not financial advice, not security advice. I think it's just common sense. All right, guys, next news. Doge up 15%, may be just beginning as price breaks above important level. What? Important levels for Dogecoin? Let's see. Sean C says, I've heard good things about Rabby Wallet. I need to check it out. I agree. I definitely agree with you there. I should probably do a thorough review there, as well as the DBank platform, because that's what it uses for its back end. So kind of need to follow all the breadcrumbs there and check to see exactly how they're operating it, because the code base itself is open source, but it's always a question of the RPCs that they use. Are they using their own private RPCs? Are they using Infura? Are they using some other network or RPC network that makes it more obvious that you're being surveilled while you use Ethereum, right? And the other EVM style chains. We'll do a deeper dive in another video because we're doing plenty of reviews, guys. A little sneak preview as well. Here is the Foundation Devices Passport 2. Gotta say, this thing was a genuine pleasure to set up. I have so appreciated having a dedicated hardware device to set up that is Bitcoin only, right? Like that's what pride in your work looks like, guys. It is a beautiful device. I can't wait to show you that review there, but we can start reviewing more software as well. Let me know if there's other stuff you want me to take a look at, such as the basics, right? Exodus. We'll do a series on the software also. So appreciate that feedback. And yeah, Rabbi, I've loved using it. But jump back out of the way. The main meme coin of the crypto space and the favorite cryptocurrency of the rich man, Elon Musk, Dogecoin, met today with a 15% rise in quotations. Taking a break on Monday after a tumultuous Sunday when Doge showed a great growth of more than 16%, the cryptocurrency decided to resume its upward march. Dogecoin isn't sentient. I mean, a Shiba Inu itself is sentient, but the coin isn't sentient. Why are we doing this? Raven Boy Crypto, Gallo Salome, the homies, they're all over here now. They say, morning, sir. I made it here. I'm excited. Guys, so awesome. Made it. Appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being over here and supporting, guys. I really, it means a lot. I know that it's been a lot more difficult to get things going here on the new channel. Do be sure that you check out the main channel. I've got a bunch of live streams that are at this point scheduled in advance. Turn on reminders. That's going to help YouTube know that this is important, that the change that we made, right? Think of it as though I just purchased real estate and the doorbell isn't working, right? So we got to set up a new doorbell, right? So that, but it works in the other way around. You've got to set up a new doorbell because I got a brand new address, right? I got a brand new house. I don't know how that works, but the point is that we need to teach YouTube how to connect us, right? How to get that communication going. So appreciate you checking out the channel and then turning on notifications for all upcoming live streams. Don't miss one. It costs you nothing, right? Just like you click through, turn on notifications, and then you're golden. YouTube will notify you when we go live in the future. It's in addition to having the bell icon, it'll tell you when a specific live stream is starting and give you a specific reminder just for that live stream. And we do have a schedule now of Tuesdays and Thursdays at this time where we'll be doing derivative media from our news segments. It's a way for me to systematize what I'm doing, keep my sanity while I also work a full-time media, crypto marketing and PR job. I've loved doing this, by the way. I've absolutely loved working behind the scenes in crypto. It is an eye-opener if ever there was one in crypto. Anyway. Those of us who are friends, we'll talk about it in person, or we'll talk about it offline because it's just crazy. I mean, the scandals that we can talk about are nothing compared to the scandals that nobody is talking about. I'll put it that way. But anyway, I digress. Artificial growth. Many in the crypto space attribute the current growth of Doge to the launch of a layer 2 solution from the alleged Dogecoin enthusiast community. They're not saying the name. They're not saying the name, but I think some of us know what it is. Concerned Doge enthusiasts report that such projects pay crypto influencers to spread the information they need and mislead unsuspecting users. Yeah, that's totally possible. There's more Doge news, though. We're going to keep this the Doge Minute. Breaks out from 441-day pattern. So in brief, it's in the process of breaking out from long-term descending wedge. There is resistance at 16.5 cents. Doge has completed an ABC corrective structure and nope, don't need to. Oh, hey, that's actually not a bad article. We're going to just bring that up impromptu. Guys, we need this in our life, but we'll come back to that in just a minute here. But yeah, so it's got a corrective structure in place, but there is resistance at 16.5 cents. We'll take a look at that when we look at our portfolios because it is part of tonight's lineup or today's lineup. Smiley Gnome says it. He dead names it in the chat. It's called Doge Chain. What? I was about to curse on stream there. Because it's a dog thing, right? I was gonna use the name for a female dog, right? That I got inspired, but then I pulled it back, right? I reined it in because there are kids in the audience. Gosh darn it! This is a family show. Still, gotta some things are sacred, and not using naughty language around kids is one of those things. All right, so Finbold says Dogecoin Foundation director hails new Libdogecoin test on Android and iOS devices. This is awesome. More mobile wallets, guys. The more we get UTXO-based systems onto mobile wallets, the more we create light clients, the more we're able to get ZK Snark technology running in light clients on mobile wallets, the better off we all are. Paul D is in the chat, says, first, I'm first, but also, Chia yet? We need to know about Chia. These are important things, and we are going to get to that. I think we will do just a special as a follow-up to all of last year's content. I know. It's been like a year. All of that content that I made, I believe, was in 2021. So, yikes. Yeah. Hey, Smiley Gnome says, my daughter's listening. See? Guys, family matters. Family's like the only thing that actually matters. After all this stuff is said and done, we're going to see some of these chains go dead very, very soon. We're going to see some projects like legitimately fail. Family endures. So, I got you, man. But here we are with Dogecoin bringing new tech to the mobile sector. This matters too, guys. As far as being able to have some of the longevity in some of these projects, they need to be mobile first. If they're not mobile first, we're not going to get into markets where the microtransactions are taking place. We can talk about Dogecoin being a really solid, like very favorable alternative to Bitcoin in terms of micropayments because it's got a similar UTXO model, but with faster block times, right, and with higher block sizes and throughput. Like if it has bigger throughput than Bitcoin at lower fees, it's not going to matter if you can't put it into the hands of the people who need lower fees and want to do micropayments, right? I think it makes sense now with that growing market cap of Dogecoin that it needs to be put into the hands of users who are likely to use it in that way. Well, what are those users like? What do they do every day? Do they open up a gaming rig so they can, attach a hardware signing device? No, they don't do any of that stuff. They've got like one smart device in their life. It's their mobile phone. And that is kind of their lifeline for a lot of things. Generally speaking, right? If we kind of zoom out to see what these people's lives look like, that's what it looks like. They look like college students, right? Who have a single laptop and a single phone to their name. That's who this person is. That's what this person looks like. So the more innovation we get in that side of blockchain, the better off these things are going to do. And I think that they're right to say that Libdogecoin on Android and iOS is a big deal because it actually is. So, yeah, the Libdogecoin protocol says demonstrates the power of Libdogecoin to bring Dogecoin dev to new realms, having now compiled for iOS and Android. This is huge, guys. It's a very, very big deal. Smiley Gnome says, my Doge has cheap TX fees versus BitPay, which rakes you over with huge fees. Yeah, BitPay is not awesome. I'm just going to say that for the record, guys. It's also, it's centralized ownership. It's custodial ownership. So custodial payment solutions, custodial payment gateways, not my favorite thing. We need to keep this space decentralized. I've been threatening to do this project for a while, but I think it's time for us to actually set up our BTC Pay server on this. That's going to be the only purpose for running this node at this point. So I'm going to get a new case for this guy. I've already got a 2 terabyte M.2 drive to throw on this instead of the spinning platter or even an SSD there. We want the fastest possible throughput. It's all going to be constrained by our USB 3 port anyway, but we need to get that full node running here, including potentially any other coin networks like Doge that we want to run to have our incoming pay server running over Tor. We can't rely on these centralized platforms anymore. We can't rely certainly on coinpayments.net. They've abandoned their North American users. That was one of the few solutions that kind of worked. We need this, guys. These are the tutorials that I think we need, is how to be a little bit more sovereign and then just like cutting through all the other evaluation stuff and just saying, no, this is the right solution. The hardware wallets, they keep coming out. We've got to evaluate some of those. But the hardware here, it's pretty much been settled, right? As soon as the Raspberry Pi 4 came out, we knew that was going to be good enough. But we'll get back to that really, really soon, guys. I'm definitely digressing, guys. We're tumbling down the rabbit hole. Let's talk about a little bit of comparative analysis, though. Let's do a little bit of competition here between Dogecoin and Shiba Inu. The burn rate tumbles down by 40%. What does that mean for Shiba Inu, though? All right, so it means nope, very top. There's a catch. Last 72 hours, SHIB's price on the market spiked massively and reached a price level we have not seen in months. Such rapid value spike caused an increase in inflows on the market and more network activity, which is one of the best ways of providing SHIB to burn. Large Shiba Inu destroyers like Amazon SHIB burner removed more than 40 million from circulation recently. But will the rally hold? That's just it. They rely on burns. They absolutely rely on burns. A Smiley Gnome says definitely need in-depth tutorials on BTC Pay server. I know that's true for the Monero community as well. There is a way to set up the BTC Pay server, and there's a fork of BTC Pay server that is specific to Monero users, and the documentation is sorely lacking. So my apologies, guys, that I've been so aloof in getting that done. But for the culture, guys, for the open source community, we need this. If there was ever a time that we desperately needed it, it's now. Like, the authorities are making it very clear that the centralized custodians, like what we've been saying for a long time, the centralized custodians can't be relied upon. The closures of centralized custodians, the payment gateways and the lending platforms and all of the other centralized custodial services, they, like, with their poor bets on how to do their lending and who would be holding their loans, right? The lien holders and all that side of the market kind of imploding. And then, of course, the Dogecoin effect, right? The UST implosion and the sucking out of tens of billions of dollars of value from the market cap. Like, all of these were signs that what we've been saying before about sovereignty and holding your own keys is more true now than ever. So I agree. Apologies that I've not been using my platform for that purpose. Here we are trying to fix this home for MineYourBiz so that we can have more of that content live here. So twice weekly live streams, guys. Get notified. Put on your notifications. And then, of course, those are going to be the kinds of tutorials that we have and the reviews that we have. Thank you again to Foundation Devices for sending over that Passport 2. It's a beautiful device, but I want to show you exactly how beautiful that is in person in an interview there. But then our other wallet reviews, and then, how to set up your own full nodes and how to make your own payment gateways hosted at home inexpensively. That's on the menu, boys and girls. It's on the menu. Plus, we will be reviewing our interview series from 2 years ago. I can't believe it's been 2 years. The privacy series from various privacy coin network leaders and developers, and we will be renewing those conversations, right? So we'll be going back to talk to the guys at Zano, the guys at Zcoin, now Firo. They've been rebranded. The guys at Monero. And anybody who I can talk to Monero. I don't know if Diego Salazar is going to be available to talk to from Monero, but anybody who had ZK Snarks enabled at that time, we will be chasing them down for answers now, because we need to know what their intentions are in the face of the current regulatory uncertainty. 2 years ago, they were already like, oh yeah, we're being kind of edgy. We're adding ZK Snarks. Today, it's like, okay, shows what you're made of. Right? Put your money where your mouth is. You told us 2 years ago that you would be committed to the cause of privacy, financial privacy. Well, what are you doing now? What have you done for us lately? What will you do when the going gets tough? Right? So if you are in talks with any of the leadership of these projects like closely, please put them in contact with me. I want to have those conversations. I don't charge for that type of conversation. Yeah, I do paid work. I absolutely do. I do sponsored content. That does happen. It is a way to pay the bills. But those kinds of conversations are too important to charge for, and I never have charged for those conversations, and I never will charge for those conversations. They're too important. So does that seem weird? Does it seem like a weird line to draw? Maybe. But like, for me, it doesn't. I don't feel that weird about it. Anyway, put me in contact with those people if you know them. You smoke them if you got them, right? That sounds. That was not the right thing to say. I'm going to let that simmer for a minute. Let's talk about that in a second. All right, guys. Will the SHIB rally hold? I don't know, but I think it's going to deflate. This is the problem with a project like Shiba Inu that requires burning the supply in order to maintain the value. These kinds of manipulations in tokens like that doesn't bode well, in my opinion, right? When you have to have manipulated supply in order to maintain any amount of value, I just don't see it being the same. But yeah, that's Shiba versus Dogecoin. In a nutshell, Quartz has an article about how crypto is falling, but crypto domain name sales are spiking. All right, let's pop this up into a higher font for you. I don't know about your eyes, but these old eyes need a larger font size, right? You're welcome, especially our cell phone watchers, right? Our smartphone watchers, you're welcome. It says a crypto land grab afoot, but this time doesn't involve pricey JPEGs of simian lowlifes or Shiba Inu themed meme coins. You're so fancy, Scott. Scott, you're too fancy for crypto. I'm just saying. Scott Nover, bless you. You're too fancy. Says the speculative boom is, in a sense, something the internet entrepreneurs have been doing for decades, buying up domain names to make a buck. So it's talking about like domain name squatting over on ENS, right? So the Ethereum name service .eth domain, and talking about how there's a spike in ENS domain squatting. I mean, I took the opportunity to finally buy that mineyourbiz.eth address that I said I never would, and I did it, thank goodness, before the Tornado Cash sanctions, because I was able to, run some funds through Tornado Cash and provision a new wallet just for that purpose. Because I don't want to, who in their right mind wants to be like, you know what I'm going to do? The wallet where I have all my savings, I'm going to use that to buy a fancy domain name with my name on it. It's like, dude, you got to be crazy. You'd have to be crazy, right? Like, I think you'd have to be crazy. So thankfully I did that before the Tornado Cash service was sanctioned. Does that mean I'm an outlaw now, retroactively? Man, I don't know. I hope not. Jeez. Am I admitting to a crime on stream? I hope not. I mean, at the time, there was no legal precedent to indicate that I was. So anyway, but I get it, right? I get it. Fees got low. And so if you were thinking about a domain name, it was a good time to pick up some domain names, I think. But yeah, there is a run on those. You can see right here, over time, the net income of ENS has really gone up. I think that the numbers for August will also be quite good. So kudos to them, right? I mean, they're raking it in, millions upon millions, doing really well between 2021 and 2022. And you love to see it, right? For developers who try to bring some kind of utility, you love to see them be rewarded. I do anyway, right? Where it's like, I don't think they had any nefarious intentions with creating this system. You can transfer these domain names from one address to another, and with the inclusion of the financial privacy for the tokens, right, the collateral you purchase with using Tornado Cash, it kind of made sense in my mind to maintain some degree of anonymity, some financial anonymity there. So yeah, Smiley Gnome, dropping wisdom. I love that Smiley Gnome was with us, guys, in the chat. So awesome. Really appreciate you being here, Smiley Gnome. Says, I love ETH, but only use it for contracts, DeFi, and DAOs. I use Dogecoin to teach everyone how cryptocurrency works by sending them a few Doge and having them send them back. It helps teach people. These are great lessons, and I really appreciate that. Yeah, being able to sign a smart contract with an Ethereum address, beautiful stuff. And I've seen firsthand some of the sort of like joint hands-on classroom and peer mentoring of DAOs, and because of community members like Smiley Gnome reaching out to other people and helping for just like friend groups to do that. It's such a great way to learn, and I can tell you now that professionally as a consultant, it's come in so handy being able to get those initial early learning, early lessons in, just trying this stuff out with friends, right? Like you're saying. But stay safe, right? Use new wallets and try to get fresh Ethereum sent out to new wallets from exchanges that aren't going to like get you wrecked, leave you wrecked, right? And exposed. But yeah, guys, Quartz is just showing that a lot of these addresses are coming out. You can assign one of these to a DAO. You can assign one of these to a multi-sig wallet. Gnosis Safe is your friend. Same with the there's a Moloch DAO app that lives right inside of Gnosis Safe. So pretty good stuff. Paul D says, warn them about strangers promising to send more crypto back. I mean, I don't know what you're talking about, Paul, because with my friends, when I send them little bits of Doge, I tell them they have to send a few back. That's just tuition. That's just how it is. But they're not strangers, so I guess, tomato. But ENS killing it. Polkadot has a bit of an issue with their dollar. Sorry about the lack of dark mode on some of these sites, guys. I guess I can't really apologize for them. That's a problem they've got to deal with, right? Up their game over there at Forecast. Guys, seriously, it is 2022. How in the world do you not have a dark mode? And how in the world is it not your default? But Polkadot-based Akala Dollar burned some 1.3 billion misminted stablecoins. Yikes! It is the year of stablecoin wreckage, right? Reckoning. But yeah, Polkadot and Akala, it's been kind of a poop show, right, guys? Little poop tornado, poop NATO cash. Oh man, it's got to exist already. Does somebody already make that as a meme token? Can we do that, community? Can we do that? Does someone just handle that over on Polygon? I'll front the mint fees. Poop NATO Cash. We got to make it a thing. We got to meme it into existence. But Akala USD, aUSD, they had a $1.3 billion extra because they just minted too much. There you go. $1.3 billion, too many stablecoins. So over the weekend, exploiters breached a bug in the platform's liquidity pool to mint 130 million stablecoins, resulting in a severe pool fund imbalance, and it lost its peg. Akala held a community vote proposing to burn nearly 1.3 billion coins to offset the breach. Akala dollar. Okay, no, now it does seem that they did this incorrectly. So it's not that they burned 1.3 billion misminted stable coins and forked Tornado into Twister. Here's the thing. On stream, I would never tell anybody that they should go and clone the repositories for Tornado Cash. You should never do that. Never, ever clone the repositories for the Tornado Cash smart contracts and then go deploy them somewhere else that they can be self-hosted, like on a permissionless and encrypted repository platform. Never do that. Okay? As long as we understand each other. People who do that are bad. All right, so fast facts. Yep, they held a community vote. They decided to burn 1.3 billion coins. I think that they burnt Akala coins. I think that they burnt the collateral, the corresponding collateral that would go into it, which in my mind is fine, right? Like, get rid of the... Paul D, I'll not do that. Super hard. Awesome. I appreciate that support. You guys are the best. 16 wallets executed these outflow transactions, said Akala in its Twitter post. Akala did not reveal how much it lost, but crypto analysts on Twitter estimated the Akala loss at $1.6 million. How in the world are all these numbers correlated? Burning 1.3 billion, Akala, I'm sure, was a collateral because it was probably over collateralized, and losing 1.6 million in value to try to cover up a $130 million overprint of stablecoins, right? Or a hidden inflation of stablecoins. You can't make this stuff up, but here's the funny thing. I'm sure that things like this have happened with our fiat currencies, but it never makes the news. When's the last time you heard of somebody being a career money laundering criminal, right? A career money printing, money laundering criminal, the Catch Me If You Can guy, Frank Abagnale. Who was the last Frank Abagnale that we ever saw trotted out on the mainstream media for forging $20 bills or $100 bills? We know it happens. We just don't ever see it in the news. So why are we always seeing news about crypto exploits? It does beg some questions, doesn't it? I think it does. Anyway, they're trying to get rid of the printed dollar anyway, too. So I guess they're going to try to solve that problem and sweep it under the rug before we ever notice that it's mainstream news. But on the note of stablecoins and issues, the need for caution, DAI stablecoin holders need to be cautious now, and here's why. We talked about this on last night's segment, and I said it very personally, very poignantly. I wish that I could just rely on DAI as a stablecoin, but I'm concerned about MakerDAO's move to sell its USDC into Ethereum because it will not be an over-collateralized debt position. USDC was a one-to-one backing for DAI. They won't have that one-to-one backing if they move it into any other digital asset. It could be ETH, it could be wrapped Bitcoin, it could be anything. It could be wrapped Doge, right, on Ethereum. And it won't necessarily give them that peg. It'll just give them a collateralized debt position that if they don't choose a ratio, won't give us the full story. Like if they sell... For example, they sell $3 billion worth of USDC into $3 billion worth of Doge. Well, we've seen Doge fluctuate recently to as low as about 50% of its current value, right? About 8 to 12 cents, I guess, was maybe 10 cents was its recent low. But the point is that if they don't have an over collateralization ratio of that wrapped Doge, if that's the direction they choose to go instead of Ethereum, of about 200%, we're use a Doge term. We're boned, right? We got problems. We need to over collateralize. They need more of that asset than the amount of stable coins that they want to print from it, is my point. And with USDC, it was easy, right? Like one-to-one, every dollar you put into the collateral can let you print $1 of DAI. we're out of that territory now. They're trying to go a different direction because they're worried about USDC sanctioning their addresses, right? Or they're worried potentially about the amount of DAI that's gone through Tornado Cash, resulting in Circle sanctioning the USDC treasuries of MakerDAO. I think they have every right to be concerned about that, by that. And I think that they really should do something, and they should do it fast. But I think that's going to require that they claw back some of the supply, and that will force MakerDAO to take a hit. So it's a bit of an issue. Paul D says that's a SHIB term. The SHIB army is going to be super mad. It's true. They're going to be strong mad. Mad strong. Big mad. Big mad. No cap. Ha! Yeah, their madness is going to be bussin'. Oh my gosh. I'm getting dumber by the second. I'm becoming one of them. I'm sorry, guys. We had a good run while it lasted. Anyway, but sometimes these kids. All right. Sorry, I'm trying to shake my fist at a cloud. But yeah, they're looking for stability. They're trying to sell off that USDC, and this is the current breakdown of the DAI collateral. 51% of the current supply backed by USDC. Tiny sliver of wrapped Bitcoin, ETH. There you go. Jeez, some other derivatives. It's just not good. It's not good. USDC and Circle, they've proven that they're willing to be overly eager to comply, right? It's like, dude, there's no legal precedent. There is, let's work backwards from legality back to morality. There's no legal precedent, which means that it's entirely possible that the U.S. Treasury, the OFAC, their sanction could be deemed to have like no merit. It could be totally baseless. It could be that this is brought to legal action, and Coin Center is trying to do so. That it could be that legal action proves that there's no merit to their claim that it should be sanctioned, and that it does get peeled off of that list, meaning that Circle is causing damages right now by jumping in too early without there being any kind of legal precedent. But step back, the ethical obligation of Circle is not to start sanctioning other addresses automatically. Right? They don't have an ethical obligation to do that. They have an ethical obligation to prevent payment inflows to Tornado Cash in the future, but they don't have any ethical obligation to prevent the USDC outflows from the Tornado Cash contracts now. If anything, they've got an ethical and a fiduciary obligation to people who hold USDC to let them get their USDC. Let them get it out. Right? So I've got a huge problem with that. And then, of course, the morality question is like, no, it's completely immoral to mess with people's money when it's viewed as cash, right? When it's viewed as digital cash, totally immoral to take that from people, totally immoral to rob individuals and cause damage to individual holders. So shame on Circle. I do not like what they're doing at all. And it makes me very much not want to hold USDC if I can avoid it. But unfortunately, that means the trickle-down effect is going to hit DAI as well. So, yeah, if you have DAI, be careful. MakerDAO is talking about, there you go, a $3.5 billion ETH market buy. But they need to over-collateralize, which means they're going to have to, cause an issue. Yeah. Vitalik, this seems like a risky and terrible idea. If ETH drops a lot, value collateral would go way down, but CDPs, collateral debt positions, would not get liquidated. So the whole system would risk becoming a fractional reserve. Yup. He's not perfect, but I do love a lot of the quotes from Vitalik. He's got a lot of quotable quotes, but be careful if you're into DAI. And then last of the news here, guys. BitBoy and Atozy have got a defamation lawsuit over scam claims. I'm just going to quickly, I want to set the record straight here, guys. You see me on BitBoy's channel. You see me interact with Ben every now and then live at events. You see me interact with him on his channel. He's been nothing but generous to me, nothing but outgoing to me, nothing but very giving, actually, to me, and uplifting. So when I see people try to go for the jugular, all I can think is that's clickbait. And if you had real merit to the claim that he was creating a scam, you would do one of two things. If there were any reason to believe that there were criminal elements to what Ben is doing and his team of dozens of people who he employs for his content, if you thought that there was actual criminal a criminal element to what they're doing, you would contact the FBI. If you thought that there was a financial crime and he was peddling some kind of a security, you would contact the SEC. You can contact both of those organizations on your own, and you can report crimes that you've witnessed. You can report bad behavior, and you can let them handle that for you. But if you think that like calling him out as a scammer publicly and claiming that he's peddling securities and claiming that he's doing something publicly is going to help, you're wrong. If you've got hard evidence, go bring it to an authority. Like, it's that simple. And I'm saying that as somebody who, like, you know, I like Ben, but if you think that he's actually committed a crime, like if that's what you're saying, go friggin' prove it. Don't whine about it on YouTube. Anyway, here I am whining about that person whining about Ben, but just wanted to quickly get that out of the way. I don't agree with that approach, right? People who waste their time in trying to backbite others. I just don't get it at all. So, yeah. But suing his fellow YouTuber. No, I mean, that's the thing. When somebody does stuff like that, you do sue for defamation. Those are generally the results of it. Because they're damaging claims. They do create financial damage without any substance. Because if it was an actual crime, if they were actual scams, you could talk to consumer protection agencies or you could talk to law enforcement, and they handle that sort of thing. You don't need to. This ain't the Wild West, and you ain't Bill Hickok. Get over yourself, partner. All right. Top cryptocurrency exchanges don't require KYC verification. Me likey. What? Oh, me likey. No. Spiky. Not good. Would you lick a cactus? No. You would lick an ice lolly. Gosh darn it. That's what you would lick. What does that have to do with KYC exchanges? I don't really know, but it's a pretty great visual, actually. So, yeah, moving back down, though. Poloniex, that's complete BS. Poloniex is absolutely a KYC exchange. How do I know? Because they literally have like a half a Bitcoin of mine because they KYC'd me right off the platform. Dude, who wrote this? Okay. And I guess I should have vetted it a little more, but I lined some of this content. We saw it. Like, I did this live. Binance? What? Who wrote this? Oh my gosh. Stormgain. Ooh, KuCoin. BitMax. Bitfinex. Be cautious. Yeah, be cautious. You might read some lame article by somebody that doesn't understand what the words KYC mean, what the term KYC means. Not happy with that. I mean, Anton, I'm sure you're a nice guy. This is dead wrong. Get your facts straight. For the members of our audience who are here right now, I'm going to type in a word into the chat that you can use to do your own research. I won't say it on stream because we need to keep our volume in check there. So you use that to your advantage. Have fun. Have fun over there. I think it's going to be a better experience for you. Let's take a quick look at DeFi Llama. Very, very fast. DeFi Llama. Ethereum is still massively dominant, 57%. Let's drop in all of our... We have liquid staking as an option now as well. It's a brand new option, Pool 2. And we'll get our borrows. Oh, it takes a little bit of time, but this is a free resource. Cannot complain about that. And then our liquid staking is a brand new area. We can show more volume. And you can see now the TVL for Ethereum pops all the way up to 64%. Quite dominant. Regained that position as we saw Luna absolutely poop the bed, right? Pull an Amber Heard. So Paul D says their website is very GeoCities 98 looking. Has a dark mode though. Yeah, I know it is pretty GeoCities 98 looking, but it's got charts too, which is kind of the only thing I'm here for. And we can download all the data in CSV, which is nice too, right? I guess. Hopefully we can just pull that from a feed at some point and populate some other tools later on. But yeah, this is. I think you can find this. Let's see. Download the data. Yeah, API. They've got an API right there, guys. And totally open source project. I'm really impressed with what they've done here and how much they give away for free. I mean, as a free resource, geez, it's so incredibly useful over at DeFi Llama, what they're doing. So huge shout out to the team there. If anybody is watching or if this hits their desk, like just great work. Really, really great work. Top 5, then we got Ethereum, BSC, Tron, Avalanche, and Solana. Solana has not bled out yet. It's gotta, yeah. How does that work? How can something bleed for so long and not die? It must be a lady. So, all right, redo that. I know that was bad. That was bad. Uncle Seth is being naughty. So anyway, top 5 when we look at protocol support is rearranged. Ethereum, BSC, Polygon, Phantom, and Avalanche. We ditch Solana. We get rid of others as well. Arbitrum is getting close, though. It is gaining a lot of support there. But Avalanche, Phantom, and Polygon, they're in the 200s. Polygon nearing 300 protocols. So I think that's a much better, more useful measure. Cursed Mining is in the chat saying, hey ho, hey ho. It's off to the mines we go. Actually, we're just live streaming today. Yeah. Kirsten Mining says, found the new channel for the first time. Cheers. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I'm not sure how we're going to handle the previous channel being a backup or a secondary channel. It is what feeds the Odyssey account because you can't associate your Odyssey account to more than one YouTube account. So we will be sorting through that. But right now, I'm going to call it what it is. Kirsten Mining, you missed my little rant before. I'm fighting dirty because that's how YouTube has been towards our crypto content. So that's how we're doing it now, right? We're bare knuckle boxing, we're fighting dirty, we're gouging, we're sweeping the leg. We're doing all the dirty moves because they did us dirty first. So here we are. Map of Zones, another great tool if you are into the IBC ecosystem. Somebody asked me if I'm into the IBC ecosystem, Osmosis, Cosmos, etc. Yeah, Smiley Gnome asked, just ask Nexus. It's true, dude. So many projects just get destroyed because YouTube decided that they didn't like them. It's not cool. It's very not cool. But if you're into the IBC ecosystem, you absolutely must know Map of Zones. It's in our link list down below. GPU profitability ranking decides to grace us with not dark mode. So correct that problem right there. Go to 14 cents per kilowatt hour. We can tell top of the list is still just doing barely over $2 per day. Ethereum is profitable right now, but as the difficulty increases over the next several weeks, we're going to have problems. I have scheduled my live streams Tuesday and Thursday all the way through to the proposed date for the merge. The intention for doing that is that we keep our finger on the pulse of what's happening with Ethereum and any proposed forks. ETHW, I think, is going to be stillborn. It's already decreased in its value, but I think it's going to have problems, and we're going to monitor that every Tuesday and Thursday. We'll do the breakout sessions and post those separately for the news segments on the channel as well, just because I have to maintain my sanity and I need to work a full schedule outside of YouTube as well. That is one of the things that has allowed me to maintain my ability to continue doing YouTube is that I never stopped working, right? I never quit my day job. I got new day jobs working in crypto so that I could make better content about crypto and then could continue to grow the channel. So appreciate you guys' support, appreciate you being supportive here, and appreciate you letting me pivot from strictly like mining and tutorial type content into all of the other review media, play to earn, everything else. Like crypto is it's a weird and wonderful place. And since DeFi summer, like if you didn't pivot, you were stagnating. That's my take on it anyway. That's why I pivoted. Other people can do what they want, but I had to pivot. So at least a little bit, just a little bit. But down the bottom of the list, even the least performant cards are back in the money again. The R9 Fury is back in the money on Beam Hash. So everything looks like it's in the money just a little bit longer. I would still say if you think the getting is good for your old mining hardware, get out of it. Because miners haven't fully capitulated yet. But when they do, that means that the market will be illiquid for that hardware. Your market or your hardware will become illiquid in the market, and you won't have a whole lot of time to salvage what you got there. Brief overview of our portfolio. I'm going to jump straight to our GPU Ethereum replacements, and we'll do a deep dive of our portfolio the next live stream this week on Thursday. We'll just keep it to more news today, and we'll trickle out some of that news in other segments throughout the week. But our GPU Ethereum replacements, these are our top 5 that we've earmarked as GPU Ethereum replacements that could potentially overtake the hash rate from GPUs once Ethereum goes proof of stake at the Beacon Chain merge. Ethereum Classic is top of that list. It's still the only one with an over $1 billion market cap. In fact, it's $5.5 billion in market cap. It moves a lot. It moves a lot of value already. It already moves like well over 10 times the value of its nearest competitor. And what is that? It's Ravencoin. Next to that, Flux, $250 million. But I mean, let's be real. That's almost half of what Ravencoin is right now. And then Ergo and Firo to a lesser extent. These are my top 5 picks for the potential successors to Ethereum when it goes proof of stake. Audience, what do you think could be potential successors to Ethereum? In my mind, like It's not going to happen. But if Litecoin and Dogecoin could agree to do a proof of work change such that they could be mined by GPUs, they would dominate, right? They would absolutely take over from what Ethereum is doing. Very unlikely to happen because they've already been so entrenched in ASIC mining for so many years. But what do you think could potentially make this list? What should I add? What's missing right now that I should add to this list right now so that we can track some other possible ticker symbols that would replace Ethereum in terms of all the net hash that has nowhere to go? What do you think can also take that list? Because, Smiley Gnome says Raven probably top of that list. Yep. So Raven is, I think Raven probably is the top of that list since Ethereum Classic is also, it does have some ASICs on it and it isn't perfectly mineable by every GPU type. So you have lower spec GPUs that can mine Ravencoin. But tell me what you think in the comments. I think we're going to call that a show. Thank you for watching, guys, all the way to the end. Thank you in advance for anybody who's willing to do timestamps. If you want to do timestamps, I am strongly considering creating the DAO for this new channel so that we have greater incentive for participation, and we have greater incentive for bringing in any paid reviews, media, anything else, any sponsored reviews and media, and have a way for that to be compensated within the community, right? Have that be something where we can do some vetting, we can do some additional exploration and some additional investigative work, and have that be something that we share the sort of a shared load of carrying that weight of responsibility. We see so many other influencers who try to do it on their own or try to hire their own teams or whatever. And I think it might be better just have a community and have that be on chain, like have the transparency be there. There've been projects that have tried to do similar things and have failed because they had a profit motive. But what if we just did it because, we're having fun? I don't know, man. It could be fun. It could be fun. Tell me what you think. Still considering that DAO, trying to figure out how that could be mapped out. Maybe we do a spitballing session on a future live stream where we just do a whiteboard and try to all right, wow, what if we did it this way? What if we did it that way? So-called governance, etc. Tell me what you think about that as well. So, GPU mining successors to Ethereum, leave me a comment down below this video. And then, of course, a DAO structure for participating in the MineYourBiz new home, the MineYourBiz content stream, both here on the blog, on Twitter, etc., everywhere. Let me know what you think about all that. Appreciate you being here all the way to the end for our Doge episode, apparently. Guys, I've been saying it since 2016. Don't sleep on Doge, right? It's going to keep on surprising you. It's kept surprising me. Anyway, appreciate you watching the end. You're the reason to make this media. I love your face. Remember to stay private and mind your biz.